everyone. Um, Sorry it's been so long. I think the last time I put a video up, it was in September when I turned 40. Um, and then I had put one up of my daughter winning the talent show. The reason why it's been so long is because there's been some very difficult, trying times that we had to deal with, and I wanted to explain. Um, I have been working on my last class for my master's degree in psychology, and as I was doing that, we moved here to Columbus. My husband got an amazing job. Um, he had he had started working for this company that hired him to be the um, hired him to be the supervisor. I mean, engineer, and he was going to take over the boss's job. 10 years. The boss actually hired him because in 10 years he wanted to take over. He wanted him to take over his position because he wanted to retire. Um, um, my husband had worked there for 65 days. Day 60, he had gotten his insurance for his um, work. I mean, not for work. I'm sorry. His job. I mean, his for healthcare. Okay, so um, he started working. Um, that weekend he was going to do some overtime, but they had canceled that, so he thought he could go ahead and get some work done on the car. And him and a coworker was doing that, and his coworker lived across town. And he had left that day to go fix the car, and I hadn't. I noticed that he was gone for a while, and I wanted to get a hold of him, and I hadn't heard from him, so I know it sounds really bad, but I called his friend to, I was going to say, could you put my husband on? And I really needed to talk to him because I wanted him to pick up some things before he got back. And I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and do it. And anyway, so um, I called his friend, and his friend said he wasn't there yet, and it had been over an hour. And I had this little thing in the back of your mind that kind of like goes, oh my God, something's wrong. And I was just like, okay, we're new here. We can't get anywhere without our GPS. Maybe he got lost. There's something wrong. Um, and I kept calling him and calling him, and I kept saying, why aren't you answering the phone? What's the point of having a cell phone if you're not going to use it? And then I have a chirp, which you can uh, actually talk like walkie-talkie, and I keep saying hello, hello. And finally, I threw the phone down in frustration, and I'm just waiting to hear the phone ring, and I'm trying to get things done, but you really can't get focused on what you're doing because your mind's concentrating on, there's something wrong. And the phone rang, and I heard this woman's voice, and I can't explain it, but the second I heard her voice, I just knew. I mean, it was like there was something wrong. And she said that she was from the hospital, and I needed to come to the hospital as soon as possible. And I said, can you tell me what's wrong? And she said that your husband's been in a car accident and you have to get here as soon as possible. And, they can't tell you I hope my video didn't freeze. I'm sorry. Um, they can't tell you if he's alive or dead. Um, they can only tell you to get there. And like I said, I'm totally alone here. My daughter's 13. Um, we don't know anybody. Um, he knew the coworker from work, and he was like 15 miles away. It would have taken him like a half hour to get here. And then I remembered my neighbor, and my sweet neighbor jumped in the car and took us right there. Now, on the way to the hospital, I am freaking out. I mean, and as anybody would. And so, I mean, I was praying. I was trying to get a hold of anybody I could just talk to them, let us know what was going on. I mean, they're sick. Our family, my sister and my mother, are 4 hours away. My other friends and family are in Michigan, and they're 6 hours away. So it's not like somebody could be right here with me, you know. So the only constant connection that I had with anybody was the phone. And so I start, you know, I'm talking to people. I'm praying. I'm trying everything I can to get my mind off of this. And I don't want to cry and break down. And you know, my daughter is with me, and I'm trying to be sane, even though I was visibly upset. Um, and she was so calm. I don't understand how, but she was very calm. She was more like, let's get to the hospital. You know, let's find out when we get there. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to get me there. They're going to put me in a small little room. They're going to call a minister, and they're going to tell me that my husband's gone. Now, that's what I'm thinking in my mind. And every time I start thinking that, I say, no, don't go there. Don't go there. Think, think something else. Do something else. You know, don't think about that. He's not dead. He's been hurt. So I get there, and the first thing they tell me is that the nurse came up to me, and she took her arm underneath my arm, and she kind of squeezed it like she was hugging me, and she says to me, she says, let's take you back here in this little room. And I'm like, okay, just calm down. I says, well, why do I got to go in a little room? And she says, let's get you away from the public, because you don't need to be this upset in front of the public. And I'm thinking, okay, just, you know, calm down, calm down. She sets me down, and now my neighbor's with me with her little girl, and then my 13-year-old and me. And she sets me down, and she says to me, I'm going to go get the minister. I will be right back. And I'm like, I did not hear her say that. She did not say that to me. And she walked away, and I saw this other nurse in the hall, and I was about to break down. And I walked out of the hall, and I closed the door, and I said, okay, I'm not stupid. I need you to tell me the truth. Is he alive or dead? And and she's like, oh no, oh God, no, he is in CT right now. He's not dead. He's in CT. And I was like, oh, thank God. At least he's not dead. And I'm thinking, well, okay, now is he conscious? And she's like, yeah, he's awake, but I really don't know too much more. Wait for the minister. And I'm like, well, why do you have to have a minister? Why do you need a, I don't understand. Well, they are a Catholic hospital, so their ministers, they really need to call them something else. They are the go-between between the doctors and the patients and family. So, okay, I'm hanging in there. I'm breathing. I'm doing okay. Um, and finally she come in and she says, you know, I need to warn you. You can go see him, but he's pretty broken up. And I'm thinking, okay, he's alive. So, you know, I'm okay with that. He's alive. So that's all. And that's all I needed to know at that point. It's 9 minutes, and I better cut this off and repost a second one.